When will the shock of Bitcoin end? If you are interested in this issue, please follow me. We can see the daily line of Bitcoin. From the daily line, we can find that if we look at our rise since 15,500, we can find our volume. Especially the volume of bulls is constantly shrinking. You can find that our volume has risen for the first time since it was at about this level. And our subsequent volume has been constantly decreasing. Every time it rises, it is decreasing. In fact, this is of course a bad situation. A relatively healthy rise should go into the process of our rise. And its volume and energy will also continue to increase. As our prices rise, our volume and energy will also continue to increase. But it can be found that our current long volume has been going down. Since our whole wave of rise from 15,500, we only discussed the long volume here and the short volume. I think it is adjustment and it is not the dominant one. On the one hand, we can actually revisit the situation. In the past few times, when our long-term market is approaching the end. Of course we are discussing a large-scale long-term market. If we say that it is a small-term rise, we will not discuss it. We only discuss at least a few times here. It's a bullish market that started off the daily line. For example, when we were going up this period, the pullback was actually a sign. You can find that our current wave of upswings is actually in the process of rising, and its volume has gradually increased. Attenuation until we talk about the amount of land. At this time, the plunge will come, and the callback will come, and we will go up in the following period. You can also find that our rise can be very abundant. At the beginning until we are behind us at the end. When you make a charge, you will find that there is actually a big gap between our energy and the previous ones. After the short sellers showed their energy, the market reversed. In fact, we are here. When we came out of the top, we also had exactly the same situation. Is that when our prices are still rising? Let's not discuss the depletion of prices. We only discuss the situation of volume energy. You can also find that our volume energy is also constantly depleting until we finally reach the top. This is definitely a very serious warning. If we look at a relatively healthy rise, such as this one, it is very healthy. Our prices are rising. These periods can basically be divided into 3 stages of rise. The amount of energy is constantly increasing until we are behind. You can find that it is actually not going through the exhaustion of our rise, and it is not in the process of decaying the long amount of energy. But you can find that we are here. It has gone through a large distribution interval. In our distribution interval, it has already gone for 95 days. 95 days. The 95-day distribution box of 95 days is absolutely there is a chance to change our rising trend. If the boundary of our distribution box is not obvious, then we can definitely see that its volume can decay. This process can reduce the volume of long positions. This process of rising and decaying is definitely a great warning to the bulls. You can find that we are actually following this kind of market. And the bulls are decaying. To go short, we must see that the short position can start to increase. This can actually be explained. Because we need to see that when the short position can start to increase. In fact, if our current position is going to plummet next, the resistance will definitely plummet. How many goods can be sold before? So they will definitely sell a lot of goods in this range. Especially the upper range. Then you can see that our in-line is really obvious. I don't think so. If we just look at the bottom in this range, we really have seen an obvious distribution process. We only focus on this box, or even if the cycle we discuss is slightly longer, we will pull such a box. The distribution process is really obvious. I don't think so. If we use the amount of long positions to refer to the cross comparison, you can find that the distribution process is not obvious in this box or this box. So even if it wants to generate a large level of short positions, personally, I also think that it still needs time. And it will take a long time. At least we will see the chance of such a sharp drop in the future. However, if we want to go for a period of this healthy long period, we must see that this kind of energy starts to explode again. For example, we have seen this level of energy explode again before. Then I think that our next long position will go relatively smoothly. So far, if we don't see volume energy during the rising process, then even if we continue to rise, I believe it won't go far and it will be terminated. Let us take a look at our entire structure. We have what we have before. Let me help you draw the weekly line. Before, many friends said why your rise is not a 5-wave rise. There is no regulation. If it is a 5-wave rise, it depends on whether it is an adjustment wave or an attack wave. Okay. We draw this side. It's an exaggeration. At most, he came to a place like this. I think it's amazing. Judging from the current situation, we have 3 pullbacks on the disc. Let us measure each of these 3 pullbacks. The measurement method is very fair. We measure from the highest point to the starting point of our market. The starting point of the next market is 61 days. Then we measure from the highest point to the lowest point in the previous period. The position is 15 days. So you can find that the callbacks in our 2 paragraphs are obviously at different levels. A 61-day and a 15-day level are definitely different. What about us? We have been measuring from this highest point until now. You may say why you didn't measure to the lowest point. Because the lowest point has not yet appeared. Or I think we have now. This low point is not the lowest point. Because the current rise we are going up is not at all like the upswing of our next trend. Then I think we have to open long positions. Even if we want to open long positions, we still have I need to find a starting point again. This starting point, I think. It looks like it has been observed for a few days. It has been nearly 10 days since August 2nd. At present, I think he is unqualified. But you can find out if we continue to go down. We are as good as today. We have gone for 29 days, so what about our 3-stage callback? In fact, the level is like this. This level is the biggest. Of course, his time the longest time. So we turned it into this callback of X. Then our previous callback is 15 days. So we go here for 29 days. Is it reasonable? Is it reasonable? It is actually reasonable, but if it is longer, it is not. It is reasonable. If it is longer, for example, if we go for another 20 or 30 days, then the adjustment here is very close to or longer than the adjustment here before. However, it is a different level of adjustment when we are on the waves. Then it can show that what we originally drew was wrong. If our original drawing is wrong, the idea that there will be a wave of rising later is actually untenable. Let's go to this point later. What will the starting point of B be? I don't know the place yet, but our focus is on the structure. So we just draw a point and then we go up like this later. If we say that our follow-up pullback exceeds the time. For example, he walked here for another 20 or 30 days. This turbulence, at our point, it will drag on for a long time. If it drags on for a long time, it will be a 61-day callback from the previous X. How can it be said that the level is different? Then it will be very strange. If we oscillate for a longer period of time, will there be a period of rising after us? This is true. I think the probability is getting lower and lower. If we are in this place, if he has not been consistent, he has not found a good start. If it goes up, the hope of the bulls will become more and more bleak. Let us cut it to 4 hours. Let's cut it to 4 hours. I am most concerned about this one. This trend line has been tested twice. And then when I come back to this place, I will think that the place we walked before is not established. He is not us. He is not the starting point we are looking for. I believe he will find another starting point. When will the other starting point be? It's hard to say if this happens, but I think it should happen within 20 days. Maybe within 3 weeks, otherwise it's unreasonable. It's really unreasonable. It's really too exaggerated. The shock time here is too long. Well, if speaking of going short, I actually don't have such a plan for a trend. There is no short sell plan for a trend. Maybe there is an opportunity in the short term. But if it is a trend, I don't see any opportunities at the moment. In fact, we are oscillating. You have been oscillating here for a long time, right? In fact, the longer the oscillating, it means that we are getting closer and closer to the real direction. So now I will start to watch the market intensively and wait for the opportunity when he appears. You can do it. Thank you very much. Everyone is very welcome. You can help me like the video, subscribe and share. Turning on the little bell is the greatest support for me. If you don't have Bybit yet, if you want to have a free contract position, just click on Bybit below. Linking KYC deposit of $100 will immediately give you $1,000 worth of Bitcoin contract positions. This is a real contract position, that is, you can make money and you can withdraw coins directly. Therefore, everyone is welcome to use this link for this activity. Well, this is a very small number of people who can have this kind of activity. Generally, there is no such kind of activity. Thank you very much, bye-bye.